Losing a job is an unfortunate life event that you can't necessarily predict, but it is one that you can be financially prepared for. If you're concerned about the possibility of losing your job, there are proactive steps that you can take to help ease your mind and soften that financial impact.
Yeah, and right now we're joined by certified financial planner Will Rogers to talk about preparing for that job loss. Thanks for being here. We want to know some of the main factors to consider when you're preparing financially when it comes to losing a job.
Right now, as we're looking at this is a reality for folks that thought it would never happen. You know, federal employees are looking at being downsized way more than before. So as we're looking at what you can do, you know, part of it's building up that cash reserve. Part of it is paying down that extra debt that you have. You know, look for ways to reduce expenses, see what your company's severance policy might be, and making most of those benefits from the company. But then look at the insurance coverage. And my mom gave me great advice. The best time to look for a job is when you got a job. So if you think something's coming, we're going to be talking about that.
Well, let's talk about the number one right there, increasing your cash reserve. Why?
This is the best thing you can do. If you've got, I mean, truly, if you got a pile of cash big enough, you don't need to go back to work. Now, if you can't get the pile of cash that big, you know, getting 3 to 6 months of your expenses covered. But now, if you're in a specialty position, or if you're the sole breadwinner for the family, you might want that pile of cash to be even bigger, because you know it might take you longer, and you don't want your back against the wall trying to figure out, you know, I got to have that job.
Right.
Having that cash is again, a big enough pile of cash, problems go away.
Right. They say money can't buy happiness, but I don't know.
I'd like to try.
It might not buy happiness, but man, can it buy peace of mind?
Freedom.
And it can prevent a bad day from being a catastrophe.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to talk about debt now. There can be good debt, bad debt, but what's important to pay off when you're addressing your financial, you know, trying to get in order? You want to pay off first.
Yes, and you want to be really conscientious about this. So part of it's looking at the high interest rates and paying off the credit card debt. That is a good thing to do. And the thing with credit card debt is if you pay it down and all of a sudden you need to access that, well, you just take the credit card out and you can go to the store or whatever and put it back on there. Be careful paying down your mortgage debt, where if you pay that in advance and then all of a sudden you're out of cash, okay, you still have those monthly payments to make and you can't go and sell the kitchen to raise that cash. So you want to be careful. The debt that's going to be on a long term, you know, if you can pay it off completely, that's one thing, but you really want to have something you can tap back into. All
right, well, something that along those lines, the expenses that you have, how can you reduce those expenses?
And this is part of our normal budgeting. When you look at your expenses, see what you're really spending. Keep a journal. I prefer a paper journal where you're writing this down. This is very old school, but the process of physically writing down those expenses just drills it into your mind. You're like, man, I didn't know I was spending so much at Amazon. Evaluate, are those expenses worth it? And speaking of those general stores, you know, be it online purchasing or going to the general store, you might have groceries that you're getting there, and then you might have pet supplies that you're getting there, and then you might have, I got water balloons that I'm taking for my grandkids today. Well, okay, the groceries really got to have. The water balloons are discretionary. If my job was kind of shaky, I would not be appropriately spending money on water balloons right now.
Exactly.
By the way, that Amazon quote cuts a little close to the heart. I gotta say,
Cliff.
right?
What are you ordering on Amazon?
I don't. Hey, it's not just me. It's a family affair.
I love it.
Group therapy.
Exactly.
Well.
All right. So talk about important your company's severance policy.
Right. Knowing what that is can really give you some breathing room. Now, keep in mind, these are not guaranteed. Severance policies can change at any time. But if you know what the norm is and have things lined up, that can give you the ability to just stretch that cash out longer and have that money working harder for you. So if you need to pay down some of the debts, that severance policy might go a long ways towards that.
Okay.
Very nice. Well, how can people make the most of their employee benefits?
Look, the devil's in the details. So looking at what you got, if there's elective procedures you were thinking about having, probably go and have that done. If you've got prescriptions, filling those back up. If you've got vacation days that you might not be paid cash for, you might want to use those. And you know, maybe you're using those while you're on a job search. I don't know, but having that where you're taking all those benefits that are there, because they've paid for them. You're entitled to them until you're not working for them. When you're not working for them, they're not your benefits anymore.
I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice, and I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks. Thank you very much. That's the way to do it. Let's talk about the life and disability insurance. Why do you need to review that beforehand?
You really need to make sure you've got the coverage you need to have. And if you're counting on everything from work and then work stops, if you die, the people that were counting on that money and those resources, they're still counting on it, but now the group coverage is gone. Same with disability, and far, far more homes are foreclosed on from disability of a primary income earner rather than the death of a primary income earner. So having that coverage in place, where really just having your own personal policies that are portable and you can take with you.
Very
All right,
good.
and last one, and we're running out of time here, the job search. When should you start looking?
Now, start looking now. Polish the resume off, and the social sites, make sure they're clean and they're up to date, and be it LinkedIn or whatever that's out there. Your online presence is going to be a big deal, and reaching out to the folks that you know. Now's the time to start that.
All right, great points to keep in mind when you're doing that. And those of you out there who have done it, have been in there, present company included. It's something to definitely keep in mind. Will, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Always happy to share our wisdom on wealth.